It all started with a moment that looked simple on the outside, almost forgettable if you weren't paying close attention. Just another scroll, just another name popping up where people didn't expect it. But the internet has a way of sensing when something feels off, and this time it reacted fast. Porsha Williams was seen around Todd Tucker's daughter, Kayla Tucker, and within minutes, it felt like the entire Bravo universe collectively paused. What should have been a casual, harmless sighting instantly transformed into a headline, not because of what was confirmed, but because of what it suggested. Reality TV fans know that timing is never random, and this moment landed right when rumors were already floating quietly but persistently around Todd Tucker and Kandi Burruss. That's why people didn't scroll past it. They stopped, they watched, and they started asking questions that had been buried for a long time. At first, many tried to brush it off. Some fans laughed, calling it a reach, saying people were doing too much, like they always do online. But reality TV audiences don't see things as nothing, especially when familiar names cross paths in unexpected ways. The internet doesn't ignore details, it archives them. It remembers old conversations, old scenes, old energy. And once curiosity kicks in, it starts connecting dots that were never meant to be connected. That's exactly what happened here. This wasn't about accusations at first. It was about discomfort, about curiosity that felt slightly intrusive but impossible to ignore. People began wondering why Porsha's name was suddenly connected to Todd's family circle, and why it happened now of all times. Fans weren't reacting to what they saw, they were reacting to what it could mean. The mood shifted quickly because silence followed. No clarification, no explanation, no attempt to redirect the conversation. And in the world of reality TV, silence is never neutral. Silence feels intentional. Silence feels like something is being held back. As fans debated and speculated, the conversation spread across platforms, slowly growing heavier. This wasn't loud gossip yet. It was something more unsettling, like everyone could sense there was a deeper layer beneath the surface. Then, just when it seemed like this would remain a small viral moment, the atmosphere changed overnight. A familiar voice returned, and with it came a weight that made the entire situation feel more serious. Nana broke her silence, and what made it so impactful wasn't volume or drama, it was calm, almost unsettlingly calm. She didn't storm back with receipts or explosive accusations. Instead, she spoke in questions, in suggestions, in carefully chosen words that made people lean in closer instead of pulling away. She reminded audiences that reality TV isn't always what it looks like, that what people see on screen is often carefully shaped, edited, and protected. She hinted that behind perfect smiles and strong couple branding, there are stories the public never fully understands. And that was the moment everything changed, because instead of fueling one rumor, she introduced a bigger idea, one that felt uncomfortably real. She talked about what happens when a marriage becomes more than love, when it becomes a brand, when it becomes something that must remain intact no matter what's happening behind closed doors. That idea hit hard because Kandi Burruss wasn't just known for her relationship, she was known for success, control, business power, and a carefully built public image. Nana's words didn't accuse, but they planted a question. Does that level of success also come with pressure? Does protecting an image sometimes mean sacrificing honesty? Fans began wondering if Todd and Kandi were living a real relationship or a managed one. And once that thought entered the conversation, it became impossible to erase. From there, the internet moved fast. Old clips were revisited. Old interviews suddenly felt different. Small pauses, forced smiles, and moments of quiet tension that once seemed insignificant were now being analyzed again. Fans weren't just gossiping, they were reevaluating years of footage with new eyes. And what made everything louder was the continued silence from the people at the center of it all. No statements, no clarifications, no attempts to calm the storm. In reality TV culture, that kind of distance doesn't read as neutrality. It reads as strategy, or fear, or something unresolved. By this point, the story already felt bigger than one sighting. It felt emotional, messy, like the beginning of something that could permanently change how fans viewed everything they thought they knew. And just when it seemed like this would remain a small viral moment, the atmosphere changed overnight. Another name quietly entered the discussion, not loudly, not clearly, but just enough to shift the energy again. That was the moment curiosity turned to obsession. Fans felt like they were standing at the edge of a secret, and once audiences reach that point, there's no turning back. The viral sighting was no longer just a moment people talked about for a day. It became the spark that lit a much bigger fire. People kept asking why now, why the timing felt so strange, and why the silence surrounding it was growing heavier instead of fading away. When the internet senses that something is being hidden, it doesn't back off, it gets louder. And Nana didn't need to accuse anyone directly. Her calm, measured tone made everything feel more serious, like she was speaking from experience, like someone who had seen behind the curtain and understood how these stories are shaped. As she continued speaking in riddles rather than confirmations, fans filled in the blanks themselves. The focus slowly shifted away from Porsha and toward Kandi and Todd. People began questioning their marriage not out of hatred, but out of confusion. The tone online changed rapidly. What started as casual gossip turned into deep analysis. People were asking if what they had watched for years was genuine love or something carefully maintained for public consumption. Messages began circulating in private spaces, unverified, unproven, but powerful enough to shake perception. Some claimed images had been managed for years. Others suggested that walking away from a relationship like that could cost everything. What made it unsettling was how believable it felt to some viewers. Nana didn't need to name names. Fans did that on their own. They started saying that sometimes the strongest-looking couples are under the most pressure. That pressure can turn love into performance, into obligation, into something colder over time. And as the conversation intensified, the continued silence from Kandi and Todd began to feel like its own kind of answer. No loud denials, no calm explanations, just distance. And distance creates theories. This wasn't a loud scandal with one explosive moment. It felt like a slow crack spreading quietly over years, something that had been building beneath the surface while cameras focused elsewhere. The internet became divided. Some fans fiercely defended Kandi, calling the speculation unfair and invasive. Others argued that asking questions didn't equal hate and that viewers had sensed strange energy long before this moment. Nana's return reopened old feelings, and suddenly everything felt uncertain again. As the story continued unfolding, another subtle connection surfaced, shifting the narrative yet again, not as proof, but as a twist that made people pause. Fans realized they might not even be looking at the full picture yet. From that moment on, the story stopped feeling like gossip and started feeling like investigation. Viewers weren't just watching, they were dissecting, questioning years of interactions, energy, and moments that once seemed normal. What looked harmless before now felt suspicious, and what felt suspicious became impossible to ignore. Nana still didn't confirm anything directly, and she didn't have to. Her words acted like sparks, and the audience became the fire. Fans wondered whether she was exposing something real or simply encouraging people to finally see what had always been there. The uncertainty made it addictive. Once people believed something was being hidden, every detail felt like evidence. Silence became a message. Absence became loud. The mood around Kandi and Todd felt different to viewers, colder, more distant, more controlled. However, Kandi Burruss, Todd Tucker, and Porsha Williams are not just reality TV personalities. They are icons of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Over the years, viewers have watched their lives unfold in front of millions. Their friendships, marriages, arguments, reconciliations, and emotional breakdowns have all played out on screen, making them some of the most recognizable figures in reality television history. Kandi is widely respected not only for her powerhouse vocals and legendary music career, but also for the business empire she's built over decades. She's been seen as one of the most level-headed, disciplined, and strategic women on Bravo. Her marriage to Todd Tucker, which has lasted over a decade, has often been praised by fans as solid, honest, and built on mutual respect. Todd Tucker entered the spotlight originally as a behind-the-scenes producer, but quickly became a central figure once his relationship with Kandi became public. Over the years, fans have watched them navigate blending families, launching businesses, and dealing with the pressures that come with fame. Despite public criticism and occasional tension shown on the series, Kandi and Todd have consistently presented themselves as a united front. They've spoken openly about communication, compromise, and growth, which is exactly why this rumor feels so jarring. It doesn't align with the image of stability and trust they've spent years cultivating. Then there's Porsha Williams, one of the most dynamic and unpredictable personalities to ever grace RHOA. From her early seasons to her later evolution, Porsha has been at the center of some of the franchise's most memorable moments. She's experienced public breakups, emotional healing journeys, shifting friendships, and dramatic life changes right in front of the cameras. After her highly publicized divorce and a noticeable turn toward wellness, self-reflection, and personal growth, many fans believed Porsha had finally stepped into a calmer phase of her life. So when her name was suddenly pulled into an alleged secret baby scandal involving Todd Tucker, even her most loyal supporters were caught completely off guard. The internet frenzy began subtly, as these things often do. A few cryptic posts from Porsha started circulating online, carefully framed photos, vague captions, moments that, on their own, might have meant absolutely nothing. But in the world of reality TV, context is everything. Fans began interpreting these posts as possible hints that Porsha may have recently welcomed a baby. No announcements, no confirmations, just enough ambiguity to spark curiosity. Once that idea entered the conversation, it spread rapidly, fueled by speculation and imagination rather than evidence. Soon after, viewers began rewatching old episodes of The Real Housewives of Atlanta, looking for anything that might support the rumor. Some pointed out moments where Porsha seemed unusually cautious or awkward around Todd. Scenes that once felt harmless were suddenly being analyzed frame by frame. Was there tension? Was there discomfort? Or were fans simply projecting meaning onto ordinary interactions? The truth is, none of these moments prove anything. They could easily be coincidences, but once a rumor gains momentum, logic often takes a back seat to curiosity. What really intensified the situation was a statement from Kandi herself. While she never confirmed any allegations, fans felt her words carried weight. The way she spoke, the timing, and the tone led some viewers to believe she was hinting at deeper issues beneath the surface. She didn't accuse, she didn't expose, but she didn't completely shut the conversation down either. In the world of reality TV, ambiguity can be louder than denial. Todd also made a few comments that fans described as eyebrow-raising. Again, nothing direct, nothing definitive, but enough to keep people talking. Neither Kandi nor Todd issued a clear, firm denial of the rumor, and that silence quickly became part of the story. For fans, silence rarely feels neutral. It feels calculated. It feels like something is being carefully managed, and the longer the silence stretched on, the more uncomfortable the speculation became. Porsha, meanwhile, remained noticeably quiet. She didn't address the rumor publicly or respond to fan theories. Some interpreted her silence as strategic, a way to avoid amplifying baseless gossip. Others believed she simply refused to engage in drama that could spiral out of control. Either way, her lack of response only kept the rumor alive.
With no concrete answers, fans took matters into their own hands. Social media became flooded with theories. Some insisted the entire situation was a massive misunderstanding blown wildly out of proportion by overzealous viewers. Others argued that where there's smoke, there's fire. Old interviews were revisited, timelines were dissected, every post, like, and caption from Kandi, Todd, and Porsha were scrutinized for hidden meaning. The rumor evolved from a shocking claim into a full-scale investigation conducted by the audience itself. What makes this situation especially intense is what's at stake. If the rumors are false, then reputations are being unfairly damaged, and deeply personal lives are being dragged into the spotlight without consent. But if there's even a fragment of truth, the implications are massive. Kandi and Todd's marriage could be fundamentally impacted. Porsha's public image could shift dramatically. Long-standing friendships could be permanently altered. This isn't just tea, it's emotional, complicated, and potentially life-changing.
As the days passed, the tone of the conversation began to change. At first, fans were reacting with shock and disbelief. Then came curiosity, and eventually something heavier settled in. People began asking not just what was happening, but why. Why now? Why the silence? Why does this feel so carefully controlled? Some fans started wondering whether this wasn't about a single scandal at all, but about years of pressure, expectations, and carefully maintained images finally cracking. The idea that kept resurfacing was this: what happens when a marriage becomes a brand? When love is constantly judged, monetized, and expected to remain flawless in public? Kandi has long been seen as a master of balance. Business, family, fame, and relationships all carefully managed. But even the strongest people carry weight, and some fans began to wonder if the real story wasn't betrayal, but exhaustion, not scandal, but strain. By this point, the rumor no longer felt entertaining, it felt uncomfortable. Fans weren't laughing anymore, they were reflecting, talking about relationships under constant scrutiny, about what it does to people when their private lives become public property. The conversation softened in some spaces, empathy replaced mockery. People began acknowledging that even if nothing dramatic ever happened, years of pressure alone could slowly wear a relationship down. Then the conversation shifted again, away from betrayal and towards something deeper and more human. People began asking if this was really about cheating or if it was about exhaustion, about years of pressure slowly breaking something down. That question changed everything. The jokes faded, the laughter stopped. Fans started talking about relationships under constant scrutiny and what it does to people when love becomes something that has to look perfect for the world. By the end of it, the story didn't feel dramatic anymore. It felt heavy. It felt emotional. Fans weren't asking, did something happen? They were asking, how long has something been happening? And as the silence continued, it felt like the calm before something final. Not an explosion, but a quiet ending, the kind that doesn't announce itself loudly, but slowly disappears over time. Sometimes the loudest truth isn't spoken, it's avoided. And as fans watched Kandi and Todd remain quiet, many felt that something real was sitting underneath the surface, unspoken but undeniable. Nana's words lingered, reminding everyone that love can turn into management, marriage can become performance, and protecting an image can cost more than people are willing to admit. The conversation even softened. What once felt entertaining began to feel human. Fans wondered what it must be like to carry years of expectation while being judged by millions. And the most heartbreaking thought of all settled in quietly. What if nothing dramatic ever happened? What if it was just years of quiet strain? Because sometimes the biggest break isn't loud at all.